Hello, beautiful humans. Before we begin today's episode, we have officially crossed 1,000 episode downloads, and I wanted to just celebrate with all of you. Thank you for listening. That number just feels surreal because I started end of September. I didn't know where this was going. I just knew that I wanted to have these amazing conversations, meeting amazing people, and then share it with all of you out there. What started as a simple intention to explore clarity, purpose, mind, body, soul, and leadership has turned into a global conversation. I'm deeply grateful for every guest who trusted this platform, grateful for every listener who tunes in during walks, commutes, quiet evenings, and big life transitions. LifeVision Lab was built on 8 pillars: mind, body, soul, character, career, finances, relationships, and spiritual life. And today, we are diving into one of the most powerful and often misunderstood pillars: relationships. Because here's the truth: you can have success, you can have money, you can have recognition, but if your intimate relationships are chaotic, draining, or confusing, it affects everything around you. And that is why today's guest is so special. But before I introduce him, one more thing. As this community grows, I felt called to create something deeper, a space for real conversations, real growth, and real evolution. That is why I started the Shift Lab. It's a community for high-achieving people who are ready to stop repeating patterns and start building aligned lives. If this podcast resonates with you, I invite you to explore it. The link will be in the show notes below. Now, let me introduce you to today's guest. André Paree, relationship coach, NLP coach, educator of effective communication, we all need that, published writer, public speaker, and ordained minister. He grew up in Canada, went on vacation to Los Angeles, got scouted, became a professional dancer. That is wild. Booked work and danced with legends like Michael Jackson, Prince, Paula, Julio, and the list goes on. He met his wife, built a life, opened an auto body shop, built a successful business, had 2 children, and then attended a workshop called Understanding Women. I wonder why. We'll get to know more. And the workshop changed everything for Andre. He studied under relationship masters like Dr. Pat Allen, Dr. Esther Perel, Dr. John Gray, Shanti Falhan, and Alison Armstrong. He discovered what he calls a deeper calling. He sold his auto body business and launched Project Equinox Coaching. And today he helps men and women build stronger, healthier, lasting love relationships. That sounds like a dream. Andre, welcome to Life Vision Lab.
Thank you. It's funny. An introduction like this, I go, "Wow, this guy's like, who's she talking about? Oh, wait, it's me. Wait, what? Well, that's pretty wild.
It
It's
does
interesting to
feel
hear back.
real, right? When you
Yeah,
listen to someone introduce you, yes.
it's kind of wild. So thank you. I'm happy to be here. Happy to help. Happy to share the message. I'm here to bring hope to the world of relationship. What's out there right now is chaotic. Everyone's confused. Everyone's frustrated. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of separation, and that's anti-humans. We're made to
Yes.
be pair bonded, to be better, to be happier, like you said in the intro. What we need, that's nature for us. And when this doesn't work, people's lives are miserable. Even if they're successful in every other area of life, if your love dynamics, love relationships don't work out, successful people, I'm in Los Angeles, right? A lot of successful people, the same people without able to build a healthy relationship feel like losers, feel like they're miserable. They feel like they're missing the boat on something,
Right.
and it's factual.
Yeah. And thank you for joining me, Andre. It's such a pleasure to have you. Andre, I have to start here. I think it's a very
Yeah.
important question. You were dancing with global icons and then building a
Yes.
business, then
Yes.
raising a family. What happened in that workshop? What made you go to that workshop? And what made you say, this is it, this is my calling?
Goosebumps. All right, so it's a long story because it starts with the fact that I was in personal development workshops at the age of 23 forward.
Right.
As soon as I got to Los Angeles, I just started like trying to understand. I wanted to be successful. I want to be big. I want to figure out really who I am at that time. Really, at 23, it was a little bit like woo. And so, as big as Los Angeles is, the people who do personal development is still a small community. You keep running into the same people over and over again. So I had my car business that I'd taken as far as I could with my brain and my
Mhm.
knowledge. So of course I'm in a workshop learning how to raise the ceiling on the production and whatever. So I'm in San Jose, which is Northern California, for 3 days. On the flight back, this this is the last time I thought life was random. Before that, I thought I was kind of life was random, right? Even though I had some things that like, wait, how do we get here? But anyway, so on the flight back, I met this couple in the workshop, and on the flight back in the 200 seat airplane, and we have 3 seats and 3 seats. I'm sitting with this couple that I meet. I remember thinking, how coincidental, how random is that? Like out of 200 people, I'm sitting with these two, and sure enough, no coincidence. So what happens is, as we're flying into LA, she's like, "What are you doing next weekend?" I go, "Next weekend I'm free. Why?" She goes, "You want to come to a workshop? It's on me." I'm like, "Absolutely." Right, absolutely. Because I mean, I'm a workshop head. I like to learn. I'm gonna learn something. It
Mhm.
could be about watermelons. You know, if you have a knowledge that's
Mhm.
deep, I want to know. So
Right.
I say yes, and then after the fact, she's like, "Oh, great." And I says, "But so what's the workshop?" It's called Understanding Women. Okay,
Do I
and
look like I
right,
don't? Okay.
right. It was just funny. It wasn't that okay. That wasn't my reaction. My reaction was I couldn't tell you why, but I was the guy who always attracted sweet, sweet, sweet women. Always. Right. So you meet my wife, you go, oh my God. Oh, she's so lovely. Right.
Oh.
Like she's, but that's what I attracted. So I had ease with the ladies. I thought it's because I knew something. I'm artistic. I'm easygoing. But I couldn't have explained it. I just, so now I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna spend 2 days in a workshop understanding women. It's gonna be cute, like be nice, and like I just thought it's gonna be cute, like because I got this. You know what I mean? So Saturday morning, I get in my car early because I'm driving to a big airport hotel, kind of backwards. I said I was going to be there, so I'm there. Uh, Again, thinking it was going to be cute, and I walked into space, 400 people, and I made instantly. It was like, oh, not cute. Like, okay, something going on here. You know what I mean? And sure enough, over the course of the workshop, this man who was at an ease of the ladies, I came off my chair 7 times. I
Oh
came
my.
off of my chair on the ground 7 times, like bewildered, baffled, completely. What? Right? And the workshop leader was really smart. It was Alison Armstrong. She would take a pause after like a big drop moment where we're like, what? Right, the man, because it was 100 men, 300 women, and it was strategic. So I was surrounded with women. It was a 19-year-old on my right, there's 30-year-old on my left. So, and Allison would say, just so you don't think it's me out front who's a crazy woman, right? Let's take 5 minutes, check with the ladies around you,
Around.
right? I remember the 19-year-old, and I big drop, pick myself up off the ground, and I go, "What?" She goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "But that doesn't make any sense." Yeah, it doesn't really make sense to us either. But that would make me crazy. Yeah, sometimes I think we're a little crazy. Sometimes I think a lot. Anyway, confirm, confirm, confirm to the left, to the right, in front.
Mhm.
Ugh. So all I can tell you is, I came home. My wife said I was white. I was actually upset because at the time I have 2 little kids. I have my wife. I have my angel. My life is perfect. I live in paradise. I have everything, right? But I realized I knew nothing about women, which means I know nothing about my wife. Houston, we have a problem. Now,
Mhm.
understand my family. I have 4 siblings. Everybody's divorced twice and 3 times. Everybody is chaos, right? I have my life. Everything's in place for me. I remember thinking, I'm not going to be statistic because I didn't know. And my
Mm.
brain that's curious for everything that just
Mhm.
like boom, exploded. So I
Right.
jumped in that company's workshops. I think they had 11 at the time. I did all their workshops, and after doing all the workshops, you could actually volunteer to be in the space and volunteer and help. And I did that almost every weekend because you could hear the same course with a different teacher. It's different. You hear it differently. It lands differently. Different questions from the audience. Like,
Mm.
so what I'm telling you is, as I'm grabbing onto this 11 workshops, the more I learned, the more I realized there was more to learn. And when I was through with that segment, I continued with other masters. Alison Armstrong's first one, but Dr. Pat Allen, 3.5 years, Dr. Allen here privately in Los Angeles. like 47 years of family marriage child therapist, taught me and two other people, three other people, with a very small space, semi-private, 47 years of her work. I just so Shanti Felhan is Love and Respect. Esther Perel, who's now famous, at the time she wasn't, is about intimacy and why people cheat. If
Yes.
they cheat, why they don't. That, oh my goodness, another layer,
And
right?
I
So,
love Esther Perel's,
I mean,
the
this
way
woman
she
is so great.
translates and
But,
can simplify
right.
things, right?
But every one of them, Dr. John Gray, Mars and Venus, famous for that book, for, from
Hmm.
35
Yes.
years ago. Actually, I think it's longer. This is
Much
the
longer
last
because it
15.
came out when I was probably in school, but yeah.
Yeah, no. So the past 15 years of his life, he is all focused on the chemistry of our bodies, our biological instinct, or not instinct, but our biological beings, which makes us think and feel and process and motivate. But so we're, again, two different beasts in a culture that says we're the same. That's where the problem comes in. Anyway, so like I said in the beginning, I was doing this for us. I was doing this for us. Like I didn't want to be a statistic for my wife,
Right,
for my kids, for my
right.
life. And then it exploded into this monster. And I had the body shop. I was doing both as fast as I could, and people started spilling on me. Like my customers would drop their cars and start crying, and like they just would open up to me. Like I'm that guy people open up to. Okay, so I would close the door. That means somebody's crying. Don't come in. And that's how it started. And my friends got on the
Started even
wagon,
before it
and
started for you, right?
yeah, it's basically 2.5 years later. I started Partial Equinox to make it official, and it became all I wanted to do. I mean, I got ordained as a minister because some of my clients, not only do I help them find, attain, sustain healthy relationship, but if they, if it's possible, if it's doable, if they can afford it as well, I marry them
Beautiful.
myself. The
Wow.
ultimate honor. So
Wow.
I just
So
did
it
two last
was
summer.
so it was a combination of intellectual clarity you were seeking, but also that emotional awakening as you were seeking that clarity, right?
And then that again, like understanding the woman's brain, why you take things personally, why tone of voice is more important than the words that I'm using. What?
Right.
How's that possible? How I can hurt her feelings by saying something. To try to explain that to a guy. I can hurt her feelings by saying something, but I can also hurt her feelings by not saying something. What? I didn't say anything. Like, okay, how, right? So, like, for
I
us,
am
it
gonna
goes,
make sure my
what?
husband listens to this
I know, right?
episode.
I can do something to make you feel what, right? I cannot do something and still hurt her feelings. Come on, right? So the finesse, understanding of that instinct. Wow, there's really good reasons for that, by the way, ladies. Not because you're crazy, right? It's an instinctual uh, mechanism in place for survival, but we don't understand it that way. We just react. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we think you're a little right, and on the other side, because we're warrior at hearts, right? We're head centered. We're not heart centered. You're heart centered. We're head centered. Two different machines again, right?
Yeah,
This is why the complications, right? But we're logical. We're linear. We're trying to explain to you why you should not feel this way,
exactly.
right? How's that going? Right? This is how women want to kill us. Like you shouldn't. You shouldn't let that bother you, right? Because that's how we do it. So we
Exactly.
advise you in the ways that work for us. Put it aside, keep going, right? That's not how a woman works. So we appear to you as detached, cold, careless, right? Selfish, shallow, even self-centered, because we're in our heads. We're not connected to you most of the time. And for you, your calls need to be connected to us all the time to feel safe.
Yes.
That's where everything comes undone. We're not the same. We're complete polar opposite. That is the point, and that is like the magic, right? Because we live in a culture of we're the same, and the more you
Mhm.
believe that, the more you're going to think the other one's misbehaving, and
Mhm.
really try to, you're going to think something's wrong with them or her.
Because also there's this whole conversation around we are one and oneness and the spiritual side of things, and then you
Right.
hear that men are different, women are different, and it causes so much confusion. So I love that you said, I think the most common feeling around relationships not working out, or the fear around, let's not even get into the dating scene today, right? It's
Okay.
the confusion and the
Absolutely.
separation. I think those two words really describe it spot on with how relationships are evolving. So let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Why are so many smart accomplished people struggling in relationships? Because you work with high functioning adults, you work with
Absolutely.
leaders, you work with entrepreneurs. What patterns do you see again and again? Is it communication? Is it polarity? Is it both? Is it misunderstanding of the masculine and feminine because it feels so esoteric?
So, in a nutshell, is the neutralization of masculine and feminine. It's the
Mm,
neutralization of polarity that kills
mm,
relationships. So let me explain. Like there's a new concept in a culture where we raise you ladies, women to be strong, independent, powerful, make some
mhm,
money, make some business, be independent, right? But still want supposed to have a family and kids and a husband, right? So two full-time jobs. That's why a lot of women struggle. You cannot have two full-time jobs and be happy very long. You're gonna burn out. You're gonna feel miserable. I can tell you stories about clients calling me. I have everything. I'm miserable. You have two full-time job. It's unsustainable.
yes.
So everything suffers, the job and the family, right? So, but in the world of even women who don't, who aspire to be competitive, right? I see this all the time. I'm in LA, right? It's like we're a power couple. We're gonna make a ton of money. We're both smart. We're gonna come together, make some business, make some money. We'll have the big house and the cars, and they do, except they don't last past 10 years. Because what happened is there's no more polarity in the relationship of masculine and feminine, right? Like support, lead and support, like that kind of back and forth to support each other, right? It becomes man on man in uh, a business relationship,
Right,
right? But that becomes 50-50,
right.
right? But you neutralize sensual sexual energy. So these couples are amazing. They have everything, and within 10 years maximum, right, they end up having affairs because they're not sleeping with each other. They're two buddies, right? So it destroys the marriage. It destroys the family dynamic. It destroys what nature calls for, masculine and feminine, positive, negative magnets, right? Up and down. Everything in nature that flourishes, that extends, that multiplies is polarized. So when we neutralize men and women, and like we're kind of, it goes flat and there's no polarity, and we end up not sleeping together. We're buddies, we're roommates, and people don't understand why. Like we're boss babes, right? We're power couple, and then again, the story. I'm just saying again, it's not even my opinion. It's the data and the research, right? The data is this: these people don't make it. We have to like be polarized, and ideally, if you're gonna work, both gonna work, have two different businesses. Two different businesses can work because you get away from each other, and you can be masculine in both, but you have to come back together with the polarity. So for the woman, the challenge is to, you can be boss babe, right? But what kind of rituals do you, to put yourself through in the car to come out of the car as a lady, a woman, as opposed to staying your masculine? Because that's usually what happens when we get stuck. I could do this all day long. So that's one piece. That's one big piece of why, excuse me, highly educated, very smart people collide in the relationship. They just collapse. They
And so when you say have separate businesses, and I completely agree with you, it's also healthy to have a little bit of that distance so you're not in your face all the
That's it.
time, right?
That's it. That's it.
But when you say a lady gets off the car, forgets the masculine side of, running a business, being successful, being a leader, all of that, what do you mean when you say get off and turn on the feminine? Like, what does
Well,
that look like? Because a lot of women I've spoken to go through therapy, and first thing the therapist said is turn on your feminine side. And
I
what
mean,
does that mean? What
what
does
does
that
that mean?
even mean?
Well, simply put, right, to be masculine is to push, to lead, to compete, to fight,
Mm,
to conquer, to lean in, to lean in, to lean in, right? It's a competition, right? And the feminine energy is opposite. The feminine energy is to be in the flow, to let go of control, to be
mm,
vulnerable, to be open, to be warm, to be joyful, to be radiant. That's the magnet for us, right? Give me a masculine woman, I don't care. Put a feminine woman around me or any one of us, right? We want to
mm,
protect it instantly. We take care of it. Are you okay? You hot? Are you cold? Need some water? I'm going to this. Like,
mm,
you know what I mean? It's instinct, right? All right. So I'll tell you an example of actual clients, right?
mhm,
Candace in Delaware was working and realized uh, work with through her inner masculine, and she was learning with me to become more feminine. But every time she went to work, ugh, and she's like, I hate going to work. Like it just takes too much energy. It kills me. I can't be lovely. I can't be. I just compare. Ugh, I hate it. And I said, well, you'd have to find a way to, switch because you have to be one to produce. You have to be another one to to connect back to
Right.
your
Right.
body, right? So she figured it out. So she would do this. She would get in her car after working all day, hating it, right? And feeling tired. She would get in her car. She would turn on the radio, right? To some, I think some whatever station should. I think it was R&B, right? Listen to R&B music and start singing. So now her voice is projecting. She's hearing the music, right? Right. Two of her senses are connected. She would then she has some rose oil in her car, and she would take out the little rose oil in the car. The car's running. She hasn't gone anywhere yet. Just rose.
Mhm.
Ah, ah, I activate the nose. She has the ears
Right.
activated, the voice activated, now the nose activated. Her senses come to life. Put the bottle back, and then she had a sable brush. I think it's called. It's a brush she used to like softly wash your face, right?
Mhm.
So it was dry. It's like made out of fur, and she would rub the brush on her skin, and I would rub it till I would actually go connected to her body, into her feminine, not fighting, not
Mm.
competing, right? Just
So basically, coming from here to the heart.
there you go. To be masculine is to be in your head. To be
Mm.
feminine is to be in your body and your heart. And then as she said, then she would drive to the store or wherever she had to do. And when she got out of the car, there was a woman walking out of the car. She got into the car masculine. She got out of the car feminine. So
Oh my
that's what it
God.
looks like, right? But it's a
Andre, that
ritual. You have to do it. If you don't do it, you get stuck in your head. So other women
exactly.
have done stuff like get in the car, right? Put on a lipstick. Oh, that'll do it. I feel pretty, right? Feeling good, puts it in your body, right? One woman, she had her grandmother's scarf in the car, and she would just take the scarf and put it on her shoulder, connect to grandma, feel it up, all the goodies, memory that come with it, the smell, even, right? So some ladies change their purse from the work purse to the good purse, whatever that means. Right? Some would go from flats to pumps,
Mm.
like a little bit of makeup, they just feel fresh and
And you
pretty,
need to see what that means for you, right? Like what triggers
right?
you.
Whichever, yeah.
But wow, that's like something so simple and easy to do every day. You just have to be intentional.
Right? And remember, intentional, and understand that when you're in your masculine energy, men don't see you. You become invisible to us. And women are lonely. How come nobody's asking me out? How come nobody's, see me? I'm young, I'm pretty, I have everything, I'm no trouble. How come no one wants to date me? Because when you're in a masculine energy, you're completely invisible to masculine men. Understand that masculine men or any men are not interested in helping, protecting men. Like we don't have that instinct, right? Provide, protect, cherish women. So a woman in a masculine energy is like a dude, and she's invisible. We have no instinct to protect men, right? That's his job to handle it. So if you show up like a man, we don't care, and it's not intentional. It's not crappy. It's literally just your energy is masculine. You'll know that you're masculine. Also, women say this all the time at work. Like the guys tell terrible jokes in front of me. I'm like, well, yeah. As far as you're concerned, you're a guy. Yeah, but I'm a girl. Yeah, no, but you don't vibrate like a girl, right? Like, and they will
Exactly.
literally forget there's a girl present. Energy is all energy. Whew. So there you go.
It's
Another piece.
amazing. Thank you. And that's actually very revealing because even just that process and that ritual that you explained is such a simple way of getting away from your head into your heart. And then things just start flowing, right? So you don't have to use your cognitive or intellectual
Nope.
abilities once you
Nope.
have that, which is another mistake women do,
Yep.
right? Including
Yep.
myself, where I'm like,
Right.
I tried this, but it's still not working, and I've tried that, so I'm going to
Right.
try this, and I'm going. There's so much effort that goes
Yeah.
into it, which again is intellectual but not heart led.
Right. My sister. I'm a girl. I'm pretty. I wear beautiful clothes. I'm a girl.
Mhm.
I know you're not. You look like a girl. She thinks her clothes and her makeup will do it, but her energy is so
Masculine.
irritating, masculine, irritating in your face. Like I'm not like just leaning in, like what? I'm always going like, stop, just stop. Like I'm not
Right.
asking. Like she's always pushing, and she thinks that makes her cool. It makes her very irritating. She's like, how come nobody likes me? I'm like, because you're irritating. You need to like, slow it down, right? Just be a girl. But again, to her, like she's trying to, even when I say this, she's trying to logically, like, well, I look like a girl, I put the dress like a girl, right? That's not it. It's energy. That means you have to make yourself feel better, whatever it is for you, daily. multiple times a day to recalibrate here and understand, like the lady, the young girl I told you in Delaware, when she realized how much it was costing her to constantly go back to work and being a masculine, she hated it. And her essence wanted to be feminine. She wanted to stay feminine. She wanted to be a magnet in the world. And sure enough, right, what happened is now she's married with 2 kids, by the way. Congratulations, right? She did the work and understood how the dance works, right? And she said it was crazy. I said she went from being invisible, beautiful young girl, by the way, beautiful, right?
Mhm.
Invisible in the world, masculine, not her fault. She was also guarded. She had a rough life, right? So this all part of it. This all there's a reason, all kinds of reasons why this happened.
Mhm.
But when she became unguarded and feminine, she became radiant, a magnet for everyone around her, right? Because when you have feminine energy, you magnetize a man towards you. Men will smile and say good morning. Women will be nicer to you. Dogs come sniffing. Children smile. Like it's a same woman,
Completely
different
different.
energy, different life, a whole
Yes.
different world.
Yes. And I
It's
can I can so relate to this, Andre, because I think for me as well, it was probably 4, 5 years ago when I actually started my journey with therapy because had I was shut down emotionally, very successful on paper.
yep,
Relationship existed, like I love my husband. We had a strong foundation, but we were not connecting.
yep.
And that's when I was like, there's something that I need to work on. And I remember the therapist telling me, you don't have your feminine side turned on. I was like, what do you
What are you
mean
talking about?
by that?
I'm a,
Right?
I'm a girl. What else do you
Right.
want,
What
right?
else do you want me to do? And so
Energy.
I can completely relate to it now, 5, 6 years after, what that really means and what a difference it's made
Oh,
in our life. Still very successful on paper, but thriving relationship, right? And
yep,
so
yep, yep.
I want to
I
kind of
felt
shift gear a little bit now, Andre.
yes.
Sorry, I want you to finish your thought.
No worries. No worries. No, I was just saying, like, it's gonna sound very sexist, but I had a 22-year-old young girl at my gym. Right, all the girls at my gym are masculine. Right, and they don't understand why nobody's paying attention to them because they're trying too hard. They're masculine. They curse. Right, they're beautiful, but energetically, not at all. And so last week, this young 22-year-old came in, light up the room. She just lit up the room. Just walk it in, right? And I'm like, because we don't see this anymore, honestly, right? So I
Yes.
went right up to her, started talking, and I'm like, so mom and dad still together, right? She goes, yeah. I go, I can tell, right? She was that's good role modeling. She knew how to be feminine. She was feminine by
Mm,
essence, right? Like she just had it, right? So I was curious, like, what's her story? And at one point, I says, she's starting to study into real estate. I'm like, that's a little bit rough on a girl. That's a little
mm,
because you have to go through an art like a law degree first.
mhm,
I'm like, that's gonna throw you your masculine. I says, I don't want this loveliness that is your energy to go away because you may practice yourself out of. She goes, you know what? Thank you for that. But she goes, I know how to be in my lane.
mm,
And it's a line that I use all the time, right? You cannot be in both lanes. You cannot be into, family lane and business lane at the same time. You have to pick one. And women who actually have everything do in certain order. So for her, she was still going to be educated and do all she wants to do, but she understands her feminine essence is primary, for her own sake, energetically. And I know my lane. I could do this, but I know my lane. And
mhm.
of course, sure enough, she has a boyfriend for 5 years. I'm like, of course, like this woman would not be left alone for a second. So interesting, right?
Yeah,
Interesting. It's
it's
like know your
amazing.
lanes. You cannot be in both lanes,
Mm.
ladies. That's what usually collapses.
And
You know,
even if the world is forcing us, I wouldn't say force. I think I love that women have found financial independence through career and through having successful, titles and businesses, which is great because now you're not being taken advantage of, you're not being put down, you're being respected, like all of the good stuff that comes with it. But
it's
I think
interesting
we
you said that.
shouldn't forget that feminine essence and how to turn it on when you have to,
Right.
right?
Well, it's funny you say that because the idea of becoming masculine, so you're not taken advantage of and you're not put down. That's not what we do
Yeah.
with feminine women, right? That's a construct in a culture. that you
Mm.
have to be that, otherwise you're vulnerable. But understand that vulnerability is the only way that we attach to you, right? Control is masculine, vulnerability is feminine. If a man is a man, a masculine man who's going to control everything in his life, that's he's going to succeed, he's going to plan, he's going to plot, he's going to push, he's going to compete, right? That's a man. He's controlling everything in his life to survive, to succeed. Those are the guys who want wives and children. They want to build a kingdom and they want to leave a legacy.
Mm.
Children, right? So there's a natural, like, so these guys, me, my friends, they don't abuse women. We don't put them down. We don't try to keep them in, like powerless. We protect, provide, protect, cherish, give, support, lead, and pay. I mean,
Mhm.
that's what we do. No
Mhm.
manipulation needed, right? So, but the culture has this concept that men are dangerous. You can't trust them. They're toxic. Protect yourself, get yourself independent, and then maybe you look for a good guy. But by the time that happens, you're 30 plus. The guys that you passed on already married, right? And the
Mhm.
guys were the guys who want family and children, right? Want younger women for fertility's sake.
Yes.
So there's a problem in the way we have it set up out there. And all I'm doing here is sounding the alarm, ladies. If you want it all, there's a way to have it all.
Mm.
But if you follow the culture, you may end up like some of my clients on the other side of 40, single, no children, and alone. It's not cute. It's
And it
devastating.
wouldn't just be the women then, Andre, because it would also be then the men, because the
Suffer.
women have gotten to that point of wanting to have the protective shield up, want to be
Yep.
independent, want to
Yep.
be have a safety net. All of that is because of the men they have experienced in their life.
Well, and again, that comes from trauma. That comes from
Mm.
childhood. It's usually no daddy, bad daddy, right? So women learn to man up because there's just to survive. There's a mechanism,
Right.
right? But consider there's uh, when you're not in and that protecting energy, the masculine man that you want don't show up.
They
You
don't.
only attract the boys, I call them, the men who are feminine, who want you to work. Go, girl, boss, babe. I'm so proud of you. When he's, sleeping, he's sitting on the couch, spooning the dog, writing his music, and smoking a joint. When you're in your feminine energy, you'll attract feminine men. And then you ladies think that's man. Hell no, that's not
Mm.
man.
Mm.
That's the opposite of you. That's polarity at its best. That's nature, kind of hitting you in the face. But if you're here and you don't even know it, or you're so afraid to be vulnerable that you got to control everything like a man, you'll attract a little sweet boy who, like, will move into your house, in a few months because his landlord's a douche and he's driving your car because he can't afford to fix his, and you loan him money that he says he's going to pay back. He never does. Right? This is exactly so. He's the feminine, she's the masculine, and that never works out. That never works out. That never works out. So again, what works better? Okay, back to nature. Okay, so how do we do this? That's
Mm.
the magic. How do you get to be productive, right? And be able to be still in your feminine, right? There's a
Mm.
cocktail of this. There's a balance. There's a practice. But I will
Right.
tell you, if you want to be a CEO and work 50 hours a week, energetically, you have no space to get your feminine back in. And that's the
You're right.
problem for most ladies. The more boss babe you are, the less that you're able to show up in that masculine warm energy because you're tired, you're exhausted, you're overwhelmed, right? You don't want to date because just to get ready for a date, to go on a date, you're tired, you want to go to bed. On the weekend, it's about chores and the house, right? So women kind of literally unravel in living like men, but wanting
Mm.
to be women, but there's no space for that. And like I said, midlife, 30 plus, that's when they go, you know what? Money doesn't make me happy.
Right.
I'm kind of tired of being alone. I want somebody to help. I want companionship, right? I don't want to, I don't want to carry the entire load. I'm tired. You know what I mean?
Right.
But sometimes it's too late. Ah,
Right. And so what would you say to, the listeners
yeah.
who are listening to this conversation? Because you definitely challenged my thinking. And yes, you're right. It comes from a place of trauma when women, and it's not just individual trauma, right? Like I come
Oh
from
no.
Indian origin. You've
Yeah.
seen women being killed because men didn't get money through dowry and
Right.
through, certain
Right.
practices.
Ancestral trauma. Yes.
Exactly. And so we're so deep in sort of clearing a lot of that. There is a correction happening, and I can feel it. I sense the conversations around. But what would you say for someone who's so deep in that belief that women need to be independent and take care of ourselves who are in their 20s, how do we change their mindset? What is the first thing to do to embrace feminine?
Well, the first thing, every one of my clients, the first thing I do is release their trauma from childhood.
Mm,
We're all traumatized one way or the other. Some are more than others, but we all have beliefs about ourselves. Starting at 5 years old, when you kind of come online and realize if you were not loved right, I want to say, in a family that was whatever, right? We turn on ourselves. We take that personally. If you're not loved right and cherished and taken care of and protected, we think
mhm.
there's something wrong with us. So
Yes.
now we make a belief, right? That I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, right? I'm always going to be alone. I have to protect myself, right? I have to fight. No one cares, right? So that's so the moment you believe that at 5, by 7 years old, you've proven it so much that now it's who you are. And you spend the rest of your life proving that point. So if you feel as a woman you're not lovable because you didn't have a daddy, right? Or he was toxic, a drunk, or whatever, right? You believe that men aren't safe, that men are dangerous, you protect yourself, right? You're gonna find the first guy in teenage years that you date, just like your dad, and he's gonna repeat the story. And you're gonna go, see, you can't trust them. See, they're dangerous. See, they're toxic.
Mm,
And the next guy does the same thing, different body, different temperament. In the end, see, proving your point, and that's what the human brain does. That's tragic. So we can't. Women who are stuck in the masculine, there's always this circumstances in childhood. We have to clean that up for you to be free of that false belief because it's not true. It's just something that you believe per the circumstance. It's not true, but because you believe it, you prove it constantly. And that's when you find yourself in the loop. So my clients come at me when they realize they're stuck in a loop and they go, you know what? The only common denominator is me. So it's me, right? I go, yeah, it's you. It's not them, it's you, right? Because that's we're track what we know, not what we want. You repeat what we know. We repeat what we know. We really think we're making choices, but you'll find yourself. And this is when people come at me like, okay, I need to get out of this loop because this is not the life that I want. I want this life. Trauma release, trauma release. So, like I said, neglect, abandonment, and abuse issue. We all have some. Some people, all three, plus sexual, mental, physical, verbal abuse,
right.
right? More, it's a bigger journey. It's a harder journey. But the people that succeed, they do the work. You have to take care of this in order to get yourself. I can't get anybody in a healthy relationship till we clean up the past. And that's primary. The first thing I do. Then two, if I'm dealing with a woman, how do you get back into your feminine after 25 years of being masculine? You don't even know how.
Mhm.
Like you wouldn't believe how many yeah, women, young and old, right? When we had the first conversation, that's you just have to get back into your feminine, like you said, right? Get back into feminine energy, and they go like this. I don't know what that is,
Yeah.
right? Because they
What
literally
is
push
it?
their
Is it
necks
more
so far,
pedicures? Is it more facial? Is
right?
it more
Yeah,
spa? Like, what are you
like
talking
it's
about?
so far behind them they can't remember. So to recalibrate, to rehabilitate them into their feminine beauty, their essence, this is it's in there, right? The girl didn't go away. She's just buried behind protection, right? So how do you bring her back forward? It's a little bit scary because it takes vulnerability, but your essence commands it in order for you to be happy. You could deny it, or you will not be happy,
Right.
right? And the price to pay, I call it, is too harsh. So
Mm,
do the work, get yourself cleaned up, learn about yourself, step into your essence as a woman. I do the same thing with men who are too feminine. I step back to the masculine essence so that women can trust them, feel safe with them, because nobody feels safe with a nice guy,
mhm.
right? Women say, I want a nice guy. No, you don't. You want a man who's a man, right? Who controls his emotion and can take care of you. That's what you want. Nice guy, you put in friend zone because it just makes you safe. So, okay, so we both have to kind of reline up with our bodies. We both have masculine and feminine. We both have masculine and feminine. It's like, but if you're tilted as a woman too much to your masculine, you're going to suffer. You're not going to get the life that you want. It's going to cost you a lot of energy, a lot of, and loneliness in the end. And same with feminine men. They don't produce, they don't need, they don't, but women don't like them. They don't get to build families and they suffer. So how do we balance this thing out?
Right.
Right. In my world, a true boss babe, are you ready? It's not a woman who we don't we don't release or let go of everything you built as a woman, right? Everything you've done is we love this, fantastic, but you tilted. This part is missing. It's not been practiced. It's been kind of pushed back because this takes a lot of energy, right? So learning to do this, to recalibrate this, typically does this. And to me, a true boss is a woman who knows how to be productive and masculine when necessary, and show up in the world and you're feminine. And
Yeah.
now you have access to all the men who are masculine who are looking for that feminine warmth. Again, the ritual in the car, whatever, right? Find some ways to get back in your bodies when you step out in the world. After work, on the weekend, at the car wash, at the grocery store, right? And you watch
Amazing.
the environment change completely.
And it's so accessible. It's just a
It's
practice. It's just being
such a,
intentional every day. That's
it's
it.
not like me. I say this all day long. It's not that hard. It's really simple. And
I
actually, all
know.
my ladies will say, "Oh my God, it's so easy. I get it. I get it. Like I just nobody ever taught us." I know. I'm sorry. It's a culture.
Yeah, it's
But
a
welcome to
cultural
the
issue.
show. Welcome to your life, the way you want to build it. That's all.
Andre, if you could leave our listeners with one truth about love that most
Woo.
people overlook, what would it be?
Well, for the man, women are not crazy. They're emotional beings, right? And there's really good reasons for that. It's how they survive. There's a whole mechanism in place that women don't necessarily understand. They just react to, right? Same with us, right? So, ladies, we experience it as constantly disrespectful, but you don't know you're doing it because what disrespect us doesn't respect you. So we again, it's not knowing that actually kills us,
Yeah.
right? So understanding our differences, understanding our driving force, because again, when I explain it to people, right, a woman's core needs and a man's core needs instinctually, right? That because we don't have words for this, we just react, we respond, right? Like we don't know what you're emotional and we're logical, and you think we're cold and we think you're crazy, like that kind of right. So when you kind of decode why men are built this way and the survival instinct in place, why that's beautiful. Get this: when a woman understands, I call it the owner's manual. I have the owner's manual. I have the owner's manual, ladies, for men. When you actually get to understand the owner's manual, about 50% of everything you've taken personally goes away. It goes away. That's a different life with man. And not only the man in your house, your father, your brothers, the men you work with, like it's a different life. Instead of like what's wrong with them and they're so cold, understand why they're wired this way. It's all based in instinct and survival. The same way that yours is always based on instinct and survival,
Right.
right? But you live through your body and all your senses. So everything you see, smell, taste, touch, feel makes you feel good and bad throughout the day, up and down. Like the weather on the East Coast. I'm in California. We don't have that. We have this, right?
Well, fine.
But like a woman's mood will swing up and down throughout the day with things that are happening to
It's
her,
more
right? So everything.
Canadian weather, I think.
Yes, absolutely. So a woman's mood will change many times throughout the day per the
Yeah.
things that are happening around her, right? For us, the environment doesn't affect us that way. We're logical, right? Like I don't care what's happening around me. I'm just making a plan for me to get us there, right?
Got it.
So again, we're internally motivated. That's why we seem disconnected and cold, right? We
Mm,
turn in for the plans of the day, the week, the month, the year, our lives, right? I'm planning, so I'm in my head, not emotional, in my head. You are all about your feelings and emotions because all your senses and heightened. As a woman,
yes.
that's how you survive.
Yes.
That's how we survive. That's how you survive. But they're two different beasts. So we make each other wrong for that. And I say, no, learn to make each other right for this, right?
Mhm.
My strength are completely different than my wife's strength. But put us together, holy mother, right? That's the union. That's the
That's the
marriage,
journey.
right? And that's the legacy that we can leave behind,
Right.
healthy children. But I'm not like her. She's not like me. We're not trying to make each other the same, right? That's
Yeah.
what doesn't work. So it's embracing our differences. And there's
Right.
a lot of communication tools needed here because we also
Mhm.
speak and listen differently. Ugh. So
Thank you. That was a lot of good wisdom that you shared here today, Andre. I know you
thank you.
have gifts for the listeners,
I do. I
so
do.
I'll let you share it.
Yes, so I do a lot of podcasts. I think you know this. I do two
Yes.
or three a week, and the reason why is because I'm trying to spread the hope.
Yeah.
It's doable. I'm doing it. My clients
Yes.
are doing it, right? The understanding how what works best. I want to say, right? It's not going back to the 50s. I'm
Mm-hmm.
never going to say that. It's not. That's not what I'm talking about. But there's a more traditional way to make modern life work, and it's my clients are doing it, right? So I notice when I do podcasts, again, spreading the hope. There is hope. It's doable, I promise, right? You just have to learn how. I notice there's two types of listeners. So I have two different gifts, depending on, so we let the audience qualify themselves. But if you're a if you're a new information seeker person, you just start getting online with this. What's that masculine feminine thing, and what the hell does that mean? And how, like, if you start to question and poke, right, your information seeker, I'm going to send you directly to my email. So my
Mhm.
email is Andre, Andre, coaching, COACHING, the number one at Gmail. Andre Coaching one at Gmail. In the subject box, just write Irresistible Book, and I will send you a copy of my book. It's called The Five Feminine Qualities High Value Men Find Absolutely Irresistible. This is my work with men. This is men speaking, ladies. All right,
Mhm.
it's 30 pages. It's a workbook. You get to fill it out. I sell it on my website. I'll send it to you. Just ask for it. Right? You download it. You'll play with it. It's excellent. And ladies, it's like it'll blow your mind, because when you think men value, right, is what's in a culture, right? Your body, your hair, your sensuality, sexuality. It's your energy. It's the five types of energy you bring forth. So, information seekers, under coaching one, Irresistible
Beautiful.
Book. And I would say also ask me a question about, if you heard the podcast, like, ask me a question, challenge me. I can back everything up.
Yeah.
I can back everything up. So let me help you if you want. The other type listeners are action people.
Mm.
Like, something resonated. Huh? Wait, I think he knows something. Wait. Oh, and sometimes I will describe the man that they've been dating, and then they realize, uh-oh, uh-oh. Right?
Mhm.
Anyway, so if you're more an action taker, it takes a little courage, but not really. This is who I am. I show up like this. This is how I talk. This is how I am. Like, right? Andre Coaching one at Gmail, and write in the subject box, talk now. I will email you my calendar link. You book yourself a
Amazing.
call with me, an hour plus, like, and we do like you and I are doing, side by side, and
Mhm.
understanding. In 15 minutes, we'll go back to source, to childhood, to where the wheels came off, why you're stuck in that
Right.
energy that doesn't work any longer.
Right.
15 minutes, cut, right? And then that call alone is liberating. And then we'll talk about, if we know what happened, we can clean it and give you the life that you want. And then if you want to
Beautiful.
know, jump in. There's different ways to jump in. And again,
Thank
no pressure. It's a gift.
Thank you, Andre.
Ta-da.
I really appreciate that. And I'm going to put it in the show notes as well, so
Okay.
people have easy access to it. And
You.
for those of you who, like you said, felt like, he does know something, I can tell you there's so much more. I might bring him for a part two, but to everyone listening, healthy love is not accidental. It is
Mm,
learned, it is practiced, it is refined. And just like every other pillar in Life Vision Lab, relationships require intention. If today's episode resonated with you, share it with someone you love. And if you're ready to do deeper work around clarity, alignment, and building an intentional life, come join us inside the Shift Lab. Reach out to Andre, but do something, because we are not here to play small. We are here to build lives that feel aligned from inside out. Andre, thank you for being here. And to all of you listening, keep building your vision, one aligned relationship at a time. Thank
but
you.